Hello, real estate investors. Welcome back to another video from REI Funding Partners. Today, we're going to talk about something that's going to be really powerful and help you get an advantage in your business, and that is creating a system for closing quickly. If you're in this business, you know that the speed of closing is very often what gets you the deals. So on today's video, we're going to give you some inside secrets on how to make sure that that happens quickly every time. A little bit about where we're coming from and why we love systems so much. We're not a typical money source. We're not a typical national lending company that really doesn't understand anything about rehabs and maybe just understands about financials. We understand both sides. And what really helped our business grow and to begin using systems to our advantage was the book Traction that you see here. So we have used the systems described in that book and created our own, and we've seen tremendous results. And now we're doing things like this video to help other people who are real estate investors to use systems to their advantage. Within the Traction book, it describes the entrepreneurial operating system. We use that one and made it our own, and that's what we're encouraging you to do here. Not necessarily EOS, but use the system that we describe here and make it your own for your success. And finally, a little bit about us, our core focus, to explain a little bit more about how we're more than a lender. Our core focus here is we have a purpose of helping our clients achieve financial freedom and security. Many lenders who just have a purpose of making a certain amount of loans per month. We want to see our customers be successful in doing deals, making profits, or adding to a nice portfolio if that's what you're into real estate for. So what are these steps to closing deals quickly? Well, there's three key ones that I want to hit on today in this video. First, be picky about the properties that you put under contract and only contract on deals that fit your target. More on that in just a moment. The second key step is make your rehab budget on the spot. In countless cases, I've seen rehabbers who would go visit the property and get it under contract, and then they go back again later to try to get their scope of work and make their rehab budget and take care of all of that. Very inefficient, very slow. We're going to show you how to do that quickly. And then finally, become accurate and consistent. This is going to take some time going through the process again and again, but you can really dial it in and get your system so that your numbers are accurate and you hit that every time. So we're going to go over these things very quickly here. So first, contracting only on the deals that fit your target. So first, you have to define what that target property is. Here's some recommendations. Determine an age limit for your properties. An example here on the screen is nothing older than 1950. Again, in your market, the market you're going for, you may want that number to be newer or a little bit older, but have some kind of limit so that when you know that you're outside of the range, you know that quickly and you don't even put those properties under contract. A size limit. Some of these things are going to overlap a little bit, and size limit is going to overlap with how long it takes you to do the rehab project. So if you're out there sending your contractors to look at 1,200 square foot houses and then they look at a 6,000 square foot house, that's going to be a totally different kind of project. It's going to take them longer to estimate it. It's going to take them longer to complete it. And it's not going to rent as well or maybe sell as well if that's not the normal thing in the normal areas that you typically work in. So having a size limit can be important. One example might be 3,000 square feet. Again, customize that to your needs. Have a limit on rehab level. So if you've been in this for a while, you know the concept of a light, medium, and heavy rehab. Well, if you're trying to do this on a system and get really good at it and consistent, then limiting it to light rehabs and medium rehabs is probably where you're going to want to be. When you get into the heavy rehabs, that's when you find more things unexpected. Your 6-week time frame to finish can turn into 10 or 12 very quickly. So limiting to just light or medium rehabs might be your sweet spot for your system. And again, I talked about a little bit of overlap. We're going to say here, have a limit for your rehab time. So if the project's going to be longer than 4 weeks or 6 weeks, whatever's right for you. But just know that, and know that if it's going to be a longer project, it just doesn't work, and it's going to help you filter that deal out and make room for another deal that's going to fit and work well for you. And finally, property location. Limiting that to the areas that you really want to be in, and an example I have on the screen here is not something that's going to be so rural it's going to take your crews a long time to get out there. If they're used to working in a certain area and the subs, the suppliers, everything is there, and then you throw in a deal that's 50 miles out away in a completely different area, that can slow down your entire process. Next, you want to make the rehab budget on the spot. What do I mean by that? Well, when the contractor goes out, they're going to do a thorough review on their site visit to start with. Now, when you're going to finance these, and if you're doing large volume, if you're scaling up, 99% chance you're going to be using some kind of financing. Your lender's going to want to have a property valuation, and you really would want a third party set of eyes looking at the property as well. So in our case, we use a BPO, a broker's price opinion, and that takes at least 3 business days to get done. But here's the thing, they can't get started on this BPO if they don't have your rehab budget. So the clock starts ticking, right away, and the sooner you have your rehab budget in, the better. Well, if you're getting your rehab budget at the time you're putting the property under contract, that makes it all very efficient and very fast, and definitely will put you ahead of your competition. So when you send your contractor out, make sure that you send them with a checklist and you get them trained to use it. So for example, the minimum that I would want on a checklist would be to make sure that they're looking at the major systems, the roof, the electrical, the plumbing, the property's foundation and structural, and then the HVAC system. That shouldn't be the only things on the list, but that's at least at a minimum, that's the major things. Next, make sure that the contractor comes out there prepared to crawl underneath the property if there's a crawl space, so they can see right away if there's mold, if there's rot, if there's other issues underneath that you need to know about and include in the budget. Make sure they're ready to climb in the attic and check for things up there. And then on the roof as well, so that they're going to inspect and know if you need to make repairs, if you need to replace the roof, whatever. Make sure that they get BPO photos for the BPO. That's going to do another step of speeding it up. And make sure you give them a checklist of which photos to get. It can't be just any random photos. That's something that we can help you with to get the right photos. But things like making sure that they get a photo of the house from the street that shows the address, so that it's known for sure that these photos are the subject property. Things like that are going to help get your BPO done faster. And finally, photos of items of concern, so that you can see and make a call if you need to be involved on things that are real concerns with the property. And then next step, not only do they do a thorough review when they're on that site visit, but they're going to go ahead and make the budget right there. So one thing that can help with that is consider doing what we call price brackets in maybe $5,000 or $10,000 increments. So you might have your contractor trained to go in and come back out and assess everything, and they say, okay, this is a $30,000 rehab, or this is a $35,000 rehab. They don't come in with, it's going to be $31,507.06. You don't need to get to that kind of granularity. That's going to slow you down. So you want to just do it in chunks that make sense. Because you're doing this, you're losing some accuracy on the rehab budget there. You want to make sure that you have a healthy contingency budget, so that you're not just trying to get super granular on your initial budget. At that point, speed and as much accuracy as you can get are important, but not getting so granular that you're getting down to the dollars on the rehab. You come in, you make your assessment, you know what bracket it's in, you add a little bit more in for contingency to take care of those things that maybe didn't get inspected super closely, and you get out. And finally, you want to have a standard budget form so that the contractor and you, the investor, are going to be familiar with it, and you use the same one every time so that nobody's having to start over again or trying to read a new kind of format. So that will help you very much with speed and consistency, getting your rehab budget done on the spot. And let's kind of wrap up with this: becoming accurate and consistent at this. The secret to do that is having your system. So you're just really shooting for learning over time how to get everything more and more consistent. You're increasing your speed and your accuracy as you go. You want to include the steps that are going to be needed on as you build out your system. And one thing with that's going to help speed it up as well, that's sometimes little known in this industry, is get the title work started as soon as you have an executed contract. Because sometimes everything else can be ready for closing, and there's issues with the title that were not found and identified right up front and started. A lot of those things can be fixed and can move forward quickly if it's identified up front. That's a pro tip. And finally, if you're going to have this system, you got to train your team in how to follow the system each and every time, and develop a culture where they're free to give feedback on ways to improve. Don't take the feedback as nagging, but if they tell you that something's not working, get their input on how do we make it better, and then just keep improving the system so that, again, you're getting consistency, you're getting speed, you're getting accuracy. All right, that's it for this video. Feel free to reach out to us. You can reach us by email, Facebook. You can get our website and get a quote, or you can schedule a time to have a call with us there. We're here to support you in scaling up your buy and fix business, and we want to help you do that and be profitable or build a successful portfolio. That's it for this time. Until next time, take care and God bless.